Okay. All right. Well, hello, beloved church family of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Judith Roberts. I'm a practitioner with the center, and I'll be your host tonight. I welcome you to our midweek Oasis Wednesday night service. As you will be able to experience tonight, our Wednesday night Oasis is a place where we come together as a community to be spiritually refreshed between Sundays. Most Wednesday night services build upon the theme of the previous Sunday, sharing in a satsang style, expressing science of mind principles and practices with the intention that these gatherings be informal, intimate, and interactive. Our annual theme for 2024 is a grand rising. Our monthly theme for August is the unstatus quo. Last Sunday, Reverend Teresa Gardiner introduced ideas inspired by the talk title of Let's Talk About Sex, Baby. And tonight, Teresa will continue the exploration of the same topic. So as we gather tonight, I really want to welcome you. Early in her ministry with us, Reverend Sunshine Michelle invited us to come to the center well. To do so, she shared these 6 C's for us to consider and incorporate. Come with a heart of love and tenderness, compassion. Come ready to exchange openly, communication. Come in friendship and family, camaraderie. Come in harmony and ready to share, communion. Come in partnership and cooperation, collaboration. And come in spiritual awareness and truth, consciousness. As we move into the program tonight, these 6 C's are the premise of sharing a wonderful evening with you tonight. If you're new to our community or watching our recording, please visit our homepage at oaklandcsl.org and click on the I'm new icon and look at the lower left-hand corner of that page to submit your email address. Once you do, you'll begin receiving the village news, which comes out once a week on Thursdays in your email. It has all the information on what is happening at the center in the coming weeks. Before we get started with the talk, please mute your own audio microphone during tonight's service. You can leave your camera on. When you mute your audio microphone, it will improve the quality of our recording and tonight's transmission. Please stay tuned through the end of the service to receive special and important announcements. So I would like to introduce our speaker, Reverend Teresa Gardiner, who uses the pronouns she and they, are steeped in, is steeped, are steeped, I get it, are steeped in
It's the they.
Yeah, it's the
They are.
I'm getting it. They are. I'm getting it. I'm learning. They are steeped in an eclectic education that began many years ago with the Alan Watts book entitled The Taboo Against Knowing Who You Are. This sent her on a human potential journey that continues in what she says is akin to a treasure hunt. A few years after devouring this book, she dove into a decade-long 24/7 research and education course through an accredited and alternative university whose 3 departments of study consisted of communication, lifestyles, and sensuality. This was her stepping stone in finding the science of mind philosophy and way of life. Reverend Teresa continues to be a dedicated student and speaks and teaches from her deep dives into her consciousness while in the awareness of being within the one heart and one mind. Her spoken experiences can be felt potently as signposts of awakening along our path. She is authentic, transparent, passionate, and a self-declared over-the-top presenter, which we will have an opportunity to experience tonight. Reverend Teresa extends an offer to come to her free online love, peace, and prosperity community practice, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 7:45 a.m. Pacific time, opening the tone for our day with spirit-led messages, prayers, connection, and a sharing of voices and hearts, an ongoing 2+ years online practice. Email her at spiritrising@teresagardiner.com for the online link and further information for joining the practice. And her name is spelled Teresa, not Theresa. So it's spiritrising@teresagardiner.com. So Teresa, thank you in advance for being our speaker tonight. And one additional note before we begin. CSL, with its monthly themes for August, asks us to go outside of our comfort zones and address various topics that may cause discomfort for some. If you find yourself triggered or very uncomfortable and would like to join Reverend Allie in a different space for a short prayer, please send her a direct message in chat if you are able to raise your hand. We will put a Zoom link in chat and you can join her there. So, as we do with every organized event at the center, we open with prayer. Teresa, will you be doing the honors this evening?
I will. Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right, everybody. Let's settle in. We just breathe together as we drop in. This one presence, really, right here. That one heartbeat. Back of all things, all people, all places, there is this one holy presence. I call it holy because it is divine love. It makes everything out of itself. And it nourishes itself, it takes care of itself. It is the one power and the one presence that is everything. There is no place where it is not. It is wholly present right here. That sweet love. Now, I like to call it the beloved. The beloved is present right here. It fills us up. It is around us, surrounds us. It is everywhere each of us are. And we live in this love. We are purely like guided and guarded and of course protected because there's only one presence here and it is for us. It is for us. It is that presence of love. And it rejuvenates us. It's that place that we come home to as we sit together tonight, coming home knowing that we are safe within this presence. And I declare right here, right now, from this place of wholeness, that we are each divinely guided to say, to be just the way that we are being called to be, that we know what to say and how to be as we go out in breakout rooms together, knowing that we are safe and that it is God that is across from us in the room, that there is only this one special place within each of us that knows that we are certainly okay We lean in this evening to that place that knows that it knows that we are safe and whole and knows what to do if we feel uncomfortable. There is one presence right now. It is feeling the hearts and minds of each one of us here. So I am knowing perfect clarity, perfect strength and courage to step out beyond that comfort zone. Step out and let ourselves be heard and witnessed in unconditional love, that we look out from our eyes and with our ears and love unconditionally to the people that are talking around us. This is a very fine day, a good day for revealing our true nature. And there's no right and there is no wrong. And I celebrate this. I celebrate love and I celebrate each one of us here. And I am grateful, grateful to know that God is always present. So I can just let go, knowing that all is well. All is well. I let go and I remove my hands. Spirits in the house. And so it is. Ashe. Mm.
It is. Thank you, Teresa.
Well, welcome, welcome. Let's see. Let me take a look. Who is in the house? Hi, Maureen. I saw when you came on. How wonderful that you're here. And Craig, good, good. Lula, Bob, Nikki, and the gang that puts these on. So welcome, everybody. Well, I think it's a pretty special night, and I'm very excited to be here. Let me check in with my time here. So this is the way it's going to roll tonight if you want to play, okay? Uh, we don't get a chance to talk about sex if we want to. So this evening, um, I've designed this for breakout rooms. If you don't want to go in a breakout room, you don't have to. You can stay right here. We're going to have rules of engagement so people feel safe. There's 3 questions that I'll put in the chat right now that you can refer to. But this gives us a chance to kind of lean into where places what we don't. We're really about coming together and not having things be separate in our lives. We are whole and we're designed with a true nature, and we want to celebrate that here in whatever way we feel comfortable and you feel comfortable. That's really important here. It's because people have a lot of feelings around this topic, right? So it can go a few different ways. So we do have Reverend Alley set up that can pray with you, as we mentioned earlier. And you can choose not to go into a room. We're going to go into a room with 2 people and just guide yourself. Know what is yours to say, and if you want to, don't feel as safe to say some things. Not everything is everybody's business. So we know our own boundaries. So we take care of ourselves. Okay. Um, so these rules of engagement, this is really, really important. So what is said in the breakout rooms this evening remains confidential. You don't even go in, like, you see someone at the center next week or run into them or call them and say, hey, when you said, no, 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 we don't bring it up again. We want to really have people feel safe. And don't even talk about what you heard here, and don't use I just won't use their name, because somebody may know something. Not a good idea. All right. Thank you so much. I'll ask everybody to give their yes to everything that they agree to this soon. So remember, share your comfort level. Stay within your experience. Use I statements. I feel, instead of like, well, when you said, okay, stay with the I statements. And let's have some fun. Let's uncover. We're gonna feel a little uncomfortable if you're not used to talking about sex. You could talk about your ecstatic expressions in life, and because there's so many ways to just feel ecstatic. So it doesn't have to be in the typical sexual way. All right. So let's see, how can we see that everybody is agreeing to this? If you could give a thumbs up that you agree to all of these things. Okay, Allie and Peter and Lula, do you agree? Maureen, Craig?
I do not see them.
Well, I just need you to agree to those rules of engagement, the confidentiality.
Oh, what you've already referred to. Certainly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
of course.
Maureen, are you okay? And Lula? They are not. They're Lula. Thank you for that. Maureen, can you do a thumbs up too in the reactions? Yeah, well, we don't have Maureen's agreement. Is she here? I don't know if she's here. So if you're in a room with Maureen, please get her agreement. So we're going to go into breakout rooms, and here, did you see the chat? I put it into the chat. Craig, can you look there? I will read them right now. These are the questions. Okay. All right. Number one. Now you could do all of these, or you could choose, you'll have 10 minutes. So you can choose what you want to talk about. Where are you in your sexual and or ecstatic life right now? How did you get there? If you would like to feel more fulfilled in your sexual or ecstatic life, like have more joy, what stands between you and what you would like? How would you relate the idea of a sexual experience versus one that is an ecstatic experience? What's the differences there? How would you define an ecstatic experience? Maybe even an ecstatic experience like Saint Teresa of Avila had ecstatic experiences with God. So thank you, Maureen. So those are the questions. Are there any questions before we go into a breakout room?
No.
Okay. All right. Then we'll come back into the group and talk. All right. So you'll have 10 minutes and there's a timer up in the corner. All right. So let's see. Let's play a little bit together this evening. Be sensitive to each other.
Okay, have fun.
Well, that was fun. That was very fun. I really enjoyed that. How's everybody doing?
Yay.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm having a little trouble with my phone and moving things around, but this is Bob.
yeah.
I did get to have a breakout session with Craig, and we found several similarities, and I think he's very articulate, and it actually helped me to look at some things in a I don't know, in a little broader way, I guess. Just
Oh,
yeah.
how wonderful.
Yeah.
How wonderful is that? Can we get the gallery view instead of me spotlighted so I
Yeah.
can see everybody?
Well,
Peter.
you do that. You do gallery.
Oh, the gallery.
I do that?
Each individual does that.
Oh, gosh.
Upper right corner.
There we are, because I was seeing Bob
Okay.
there. Well, that's interesting.
Craig, where's Craig? I can't see you, Craig.
He doesn't have his
This is
face
video
showing.
off. His video's off.
Oh,
So it looks like we lost Maureen. Maureen's not with us.
Yeah.
How's everybody? Who else wants to talk about their experience? Or do you have more, Bob?
no, that was good. It was good that, and we both agreed it was kind of good that we are both guys talking to each other. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we got, in some ways it wouldn't have changed much because we both, no, I won't even say we both. I at least said, um, well, anyhow, I'll leave it at that. It was a good thing for me, and I was glad to talk with him. And I don't know. Hey, there you are.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I am visible now?
Yes.
What?
Okay.
And we broke the ice because I've been talking about pretty much not saying anything that we said, but that we had a good conversation. How's that?
Well, you can talk about your own experience if you have something you want to say, Craig. How great that the two guys were together too. I like that.
Yeah. I was, yeah, I'm really intrigued by the subject matter, especially because I'm here back in the US. I spent a lot of time outside of the US. And I was hoping, yeah, it's nice to explore my own inner world and hear about someone else's inner world. I was hoping for more kind of a broader perspective to kind of get a sense about the conditioning that exists within our society and things that are happening on a national level, if you want to call it that, and the energy that seems to affect everyone. Because I think it's a bigger story and a bigger issue than just individual experiences, although they're important. But I'm more interested in kind of the broader picture. And I'm not opposed to hearing about anyone's personal experience either. Okay. Are you able to
Good.
see me yet?
Well, yeah, we're looking right at you.
Oh, okay. All right, I wasn't sure. Okay. So that's my 2 cents. I can certainly add more later, but I'm curious about what other people have to say about their breakout rooms and where they're at.
Great.
There's someone who would like to speak.
I will.
Nikki, go ahead.
Okay, I will speak as the crone amongst us. I'm not gonna let that go. But for me, I'm 81 and actual sex has not happened in my life for 18 years. And that's okay with me. I'm not yearning for a sexual relationship, but I'm yearning for the kind of I was saying that if you said to me, when have you felt absolutely ecstatic and joyous and connected and feeling pure love? I would say that's when I've been having sex, when I've been making love and have been really emotionally connected and spiritually connected and physically connected. And I'm in this beautiful state. And I think that ecstatic state is available to me. I think I am learning how to make myself more available to that part of myself, which for many, many reasons, cultural and emotional and family, was kind of, I mean, I was in the 60s and 70s. I had my share of many relationships, and there was also always something that wasn't mostly fully there. And every now and then it was, and it was ecstatic. But I'm looking at now, what brings me that sense of joy and spiritual connection and communion has more to do with creativity and movement and a spirit. It's in 12-step programs. They say physical, emotional, and spiritual, really being alive in my body with all my senses and joy and love and creativity all mixed together. And then I can become really in a state that's pretty close to, ecstatic. And I think I'm taking a course right now it feels really liberating to me to become the kind of person that can experience that more and more. And I'm excited about that because, you know, it's something where I'm learning to just like feel that energy flowing through me and getting access to that, in spite of all the whatever repressions I grew up with. It's exciting. And it to me doesn't relate to sex per se, but it relates to that kind of ecstatic experience that sex has been in the past. So
Mm.
that's my story and I'm sticking to it.
Love it. Love it. I love that you're in a course to explore.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, it's exciting because I just I see like I'm bursting out of jail, you know, and bursting through this cell and out of that cell and into
Mm.
reality. And I see that kind of my emotional, physical, spiritual world opening up for me
Mm-hmm.
through what I'm being offered. And yay, about time.
Yeah. Yay. Celebrate you. That's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Complete.
Well, I just wanted to say something kind of as a response to what Craig was saying, like what other conditions nationwide you were saying, Craig, that have us be where we're at as a culture uh sexually. Is that kind of where you were at in your question?
Yeah, that would summarize it, I think. Yeah.
Um, and what I was getting from that is, you know, letting go of the preconceived ideas of, you know, there's this whole idea that, uh, I mean, we live in a patriarchal society, and so people think that women should like things the way men like things and such. And it's not just in the sexual realm. It's really taking a look and seeing, letting go of our preconceived ideas about who that other person is, and that we're not all the same. I think that it's the gender biases, and really being able to communicate and talk, because communication is the bottom line of a good healthy sex life is to be able to communicate with each other. So um you know, so much of my education has been around the female's orgasm. That's where my training has been, because it's not like a male's. That's, so I just want to say that. That's just, I think, if it's all okay, that I can at least say that here, because, you know, I like talking about this stuff and I'm comfortable talking, and not everybody may be comfortable with that here, but you know, there's a different way. And personally for me, and I have these experiences with the beloved, that I was telling my partner in the breakout room that I live inside of this heart, and it is so magnificent, and my sex life has dropped, but as I expand to this place that is so exquisite. It's, you know, some people will say, you know, you're in orgasm all the time. There is that natural energy of the universe that we just live in. Um, and then part of my research for these talks has been Andrew Newberg, Dr. Andrew Newberg, a neuroscientist who has come with some scientific studies, PET scans and such, that the neural pathways are the same for if we're in a high meditative state or if we're in a, you know, an orgasmic state. It runs the same lines. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting, because I've been busy with the being in the ecstatic with God, like in not, really not with God so much, with the beloved and love. I'd like to add a little bit more of the other back in, from a not from a real whole place of love, which I'm at more in my life now, you know. And I'm a child of the 60s too, you know. So it's an interesting topic, and I'm just so grateful we can express some of it here. Because we are just, you can't talk about it, and it's our natural, creative energy. It's how we create life. It's the creative energy that we all use, and we have such a puritanical way about us. Um, and so I brought up on Sunday a lot of the traumas that I personally have dealt with, little bits of it, because women, we shut ourselves down from these ways of being, the way that we're treated in society, and way we treat ourselves, because we live in a society that condones how men are and not how women are, and how we express naturally as seem kind of off. And so if you want to say healing that place, of allowing that divine feminine that is in each of us, and balancing the divine masculine and the divine feminine, that thing. I don't even know if we want to call it gender anymore, really, because we're talking about gender, and that seems so binary. So there's a lot that is uncovered here, but to not be able to talk about it keeps this thing like it's not part of us, and it's a natural expression. And Ernest Holmes, in the first textbook, he wrote about sex in the first textbook, the 1926 textbook, and it was taken out of the next textbook. So he basically said, this is the energy, and if you don't have to use it for sex, but you're going to use it some way. It's going to come out. You can use it in a destructive way, or we could create music and art, and that's what we do. Music and art and all the beauty of life. Or we can also create wars with that energy. So
Interesting comment about creating wars, because in many Muslim countries, and I've been fortunate enough to travel a lot, and a lot of the morals and mores around sex have to do with you don't have sex until you get married. And there is also a belief that it's like that to keep men prepared for war. They build up a lot of ultimately sexual energy, because they're not able to release it and experience it. So I'm not sure where I'm going with that.
that's in our culture as well. The whole
Puritanical presence. Yeah. And I guess we can thank England to some extent, but we've also propagated it. We haven't managed to kind of drop from that, get out from beneath that pressure of that rock.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit odd because, as you mentioned, it is a very natural act, and yet I don't know. And I was mentioning to, I'm sorry, my partner's name was
Bob.
That's Bob. And we also have a couple people waiting to speak, so I want to also say that. But I love the discussion, Craig.
Yeah, well, I also think in the Bay Area, it's a little bit strange for me when I come back to the Bay Area, because it's my home, but I've been, as I mentioned, around the world a lot. So when I come back here, I think it's a strange energy in that I don't always feel free to express my appreciation of the beauty that I notice of a woman, from a woman, or a beauty the woman has. And I don't know if it's because there's a high concentration of, I'm going to say something, I don't know if it's how it's going to land, but San Francisco is the center for the gay community. And Berkeley is the center for the lesbian community. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty about approaching anyone of the opposite sex, because I think a lot of women think, oh, he's an attractive guy, but he's probably gay. Or, a guy might approach, or I've approached a couple of women and appreciated their beauty, and they like look at me like I have 10 heads or something. It's like, you can't say that. That's not really appropriate.
It's tricky nowadays.
PC.
Yeah.
Come on now, PC. Come on. I've resorted to actually watching videos of I found some interesting connection between animals in Africa who fight and kill each other for the right to reproduce and the right to have a mate. And it's just, there's no PC. It's just, it's like, this is what I want. I'm going to go for it. But I feel like my hands are tied often here in the US, and in particular the Bay Area, because it's just not as free as maybe used to be, or maybe as free as I would hope it would be.
Well, thank you for your viewpoints. It's good stuff to think about, and appreciate that. Appreciate the discussion. Let's get some other voices in the room.
Yeah, Judith.
Who was next? Was it Judith?
Judith, yeah.
Yeah, I like the conversation.
Mhm.
I was in the breakout room, I was saying that I haven't been sexually active for a while. And so the talking about ecstasy and sexuality it's not current for me. But what is current, and you said something that very, very, it was very present for me when you talked about the brain having the same I forget how neural pathways in meditation as in like an
Yeah.
orgasm. Because what
Yeah.
I shared in my breakout room was that when I most often experience ecstasy is in meditation.
Mhm.
And I've had the same meditation practice since I was 19, and I never know when it's going to happen. And when
Ah,
it happens, it feels like it happens by grace. It comes as a gift, but I make
mm,
myself available. And then
mm.
sometimes I'm just taken.
Ah,
And I go
beautiful.
into an experience of oneness, of pure love, of unconditional love, of it's indescribable, but it could be described as an experience of ecstasy too. And
Mm.
and then the other time when I experience ecstasy, that I hadn't thought about in a while, because I also haven't done it in a while, is dancing.
Mm.
When I'm just completely merged with the music and whether it's dancing with a partner or whether it's dancing by myself or in a group, but just the feeling, it's the total immersion of the body and the
Mm.
music, and maybe there's even steps involved, maybe there's moving in unison with other people. But I often go into ecstasy if I'm
Yeah.
really merged in dancing. So that was, both, it's interesting. Those two things seem very different,
Mhm.
meditation and dancing, but they can have the same effect.
Mm.
The other thing I wanted to say about the culture, I love what Craig brought up, because it made me think that we are in a puritanical society. We had the sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s, which I was a part of. But all of that overlay, that cultural overlay has been there a very long time. And I know I was
Yeah.
affected by it. And I remember hearing that in the South Pacific, in some of the societies there, matrilineal society, well, what were matrilineal societies, that they didn't have a word for infidelity.
Mm.
There just wasn't a word for it. There wasn't an
Wow.
infidelity. There wasn't a word for infidelity.
Because it didn't exist. Yeah.
It,
No.
The judgment, the
yeah, I mean,
action.
it just
Oh, okay.
wasn't an issue, And
Mm.
when I studied speech communications, I remember learning about this. It's called the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, that says that if you don't name something, if you can't name something, if something doesn't have a word, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist
Mm.
for you.
Wow.
It just doesn't exist. And if you think about it, there's a lot of examples of that. So not having a word for infidelity, just having a completely different cultural background about sexuality. I kind of, wish I'd grown up in a society like that instead of the society I did grow up in. But we are here, it's like, okay, make the best of what we've got and learn and grow and continue on. But good conversation, Teresa.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Thank you.
you.
and I'm complete. I'm complete.
Okay.
Nikki, did you want to add something? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I did. I once was listening to something, the whole talk about the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I think, to my mind, there's the yin yang, that's the divine wholeness. And women are very developed in certain directions. And we, I think, maybe need to connect with our divine masculine and take on our power and not be called a ball buster for it.
Mhm.
That that we should all be empowered to be whole people, and that as men are encouraged to get in touch with their divine feminine, I think it's also important to acknowledge what men's divine masculine has given us, and that as a culture, in not now, but 100 years ago, men were valued powerfully, because if their village were attacked, they would be the ones going out to fight and protect their women and children and community. And that function isn't there anymore, pretty much. But if you think about what kind of emotions men would have had to repress in themselves to be able to go out and go to battle, has made them the things that we as women now complain about. Why aren't you why don't you feel more? How come you're not in touch with your feelings? Well, I have to be willing to go out and kill. How in touch with my feelings can I be?
Mm.
So I think
Wow.
that the way of spiritual and emotional growth is to acknowledge the strengths and look
Mm.
to build up where we're deficient. So, I mean, I have a pretty strong masculine side as a woman who's been on my own since I was, 16. I have that power, and I value it, and it's unusual among women to do the kinds of things that I've done. I bought a fixer-upper, and I did a lot of fixing up, a lot of carpentry, a lot of stuff like that, that I think we each need to treasure the masculine and the feminine and develop both in ourselves.
Bravo.
Points. Good
Yeah.
points, Nikki.
Thank you.
Judith, did you have something? Your hand is up, Judith.
No,
Oh.
I tried to lower my hand, but
Oh.
there it is. There it is.
Hey.
No, it was from before.
So we're drawing to a close now. We're actually a couple minutes over. Can I tell my God in the G spot joke here? Is anybody opposed to that? I mean,
Which joke? Which
it's
joke?
it's God in the G spot. It's about
Oh, love to hear it.
I vote
every,
yes.
oh, okay. All right.
Please.
So
Are we recording?
are we recording? Oh, we're recording.
I can pause it. You want me to pause it?
Go ahead and pause it. They'll have to
Okay.
contact. Actually, we have monthly themes. There are monthly themes. And so it was actually on the previous week, but Reverend Sunshine Michelle shifted them, but it's unstatus quo. We're talking about things this month that we don't normally do, and especially in spiritual communities. So the name of the theme that we were given, if we so call to, we follow these, our center follows these, it's called Let's Talk Sex, Baby. So that was the talk title. And then there's an outline too, and some references, which I suggested if people want some references, some really good references to kind of dive in around the subject. So that's why. And Allie and I were offered two different talks, and which ones did we want? She took othering and I took sex. So that's how we got here.
Actually, she took
Very
sex, and I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, thank God."
That's great.
Was not easy. Oh my God.
And if I could just take a moment to be able to blend the sex energy and the ecstasy, which of course are really not separable, but
Right.
with meditation and sex together, it can be an extremely ecstatic experience. And it's generally called Tantra. So that is an adventure.
Yes.
That I've been fortunate enough to have been part of on a few occasions. So you need the right partner.
Yes,
Um,
yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. And on that note, Judith.
Okay.
Pray us out.
So thank you, Teresa. Let's all give Teresa some love for this
Yay.
lovely, wonderful,
Thank you.
fun, inspiring talk. Yeah, and courageous talk.
Whew.
Yeah, that was great, Teresa.
Thank
So
you.
we're transitioning now into our announcements, and I think Peter will be bringing up the slides for this.
Oop.
So, okay, so there we are, for next Sunday, Reverend Sunshine Michelle Coleman will be speaking on rising from pieces to peace, into peace. From pieces into peace. Meditation starts at 10 a.m. followed by the service at 10:30. And next slide, on Wednesday, September 4th, at our midweek oasis, join Maureen French, practitioner, for a deeper conversation on the topic rising from pieces into peace. Meditation at 6:30, as it was tonight, and service at 7 p.m. by Zoom. Go to oaklandcsl.org, click on services for the Zoom link. And join our 2024 daily community spiritual practice using the Abundance Book, 40-Day Prosperity Plan by John Randolph Price. Today we are on the first day of the program using the first affirmation in the book. Follow along daily in the order that the affirmations appear. And Labor Day is a federal holiday in the US celebrated on the first Monday of September to honor and recognize the American labor movement and the works and contributions of laborers to the development and achievements of the United States. So enjoy your Labor Day, everyone. And now join the growing movement of My Election Intention, 100 Days of Mindful Practice, July 26th through November 4th, created by CSL Minister Reverend Dr. David Alexander. Tune out fear, tune in vision, with 10 somatic healing principles based on the book, What It Takes to Heal by Prentice Hemphill. Text JOIN 470-784-0250 to hear daily inspirational audio messages. It's not too late to join. And the next one. Our nonprofit partner for August is Women's Daytime Drop-In Center. The Women's Daytime Drop-In Center provides a safe space, warm meals, counseling, and support to identify housing to any homeless women and her children, homeless woman and her children during the day when shelters are closed. WDDC serves an average of 400 women and children each month. Many of WDDC's daily activities, including cooking to warm meals a day for families, are performed by volunteers. Visit www.womensdropin.org for more information.
Nikki has her hand raised. Was it something about that donation, please?
Yeah, I'm the host for them, the nonprofit partner. And there's a basket, as you go into the social hall of where you can make donations. And they particularly need something we all have, which is a whole bunch of old plastic bags that we stuff into the drawer. And they also, if you have like little hotel-sized soaps and toothpaste and things like that, there's a list there of what you can bring. But I will pick them up and take them because they're very close to me. So yeah, these are the things that they would like.
Nice.
Thank you, Nikki.
It doesn't take the plastic
So
bag.
Nikki has covered this slide. Yeah, so there's
Oh,
a
it does say
barrel.
plastic bags.
There's a barrel right inside the door and at the center, and you can donate there. Thank you, Nikki.
Okay.
And now mark your calendars for a quick start class on Science of Mind, Saturdays, September 21st and 28th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The class is a requirement for the next new membership cohort, a refresher for some, and new principles for newcomers. Registration will be available soon. And the Spirit Treasure Bookstore is having a store-wide sale, 40% off for all books and 30% off for merchandise. Please go to bookstore at oaklandcsl.org to take advantage of the August sales. Okay, and visit csl.org to see what's happening within our Centers for Spiritual Living global organization. And please visit our Oakland, our website at oaklandcsl.org and sign up for our weekly newsletter, The Village News. Remember to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for special updates and content you will only find by liking and subscribing to Oakland Center. Please like us and subscribe to Oakland Center today. And here I want to give a shout out to our key people at Oakland CSL, Reverend Sunshine Michelle, our senior minister, Beth, who is our board president, Susan Brecker is with facility usage coordinator, Steve Carter is operations coordinator, Alice Knudsen is now coordinating ministry of prayer, Dow Becker is our bookkeeper, and of course, Paul Prosciutti is one of our Wednesday night hosts. He's on leave right now, and he's also manages our facilities. So thank all of them in just with such a feeling and spirit of gratitude for everything they do. Yeah, and let's go to the next slide. So we're going to move into our period of joyous giving. And you can say with me, I think it would be better if you mute yourself for this, but let's say this together because otherwise we're going to have a cacophonous sound. But joyously I give with an attitude of abundance, knowing that as I give, I do receive, and so it is. And so if you feel that you'd like to donate, you can go to our website, oaklandcsl.org, click the donate button in the upper right, and it'll take you here. You have all these different ways that you can donate via Zelle. You can text, you can use this QR code, you can send a check in the mail, and of course you can, if you're there in person, you can donate in the basket, putting money in the basket. So thank you all for any donations you offer. They're very much appreciated. Any amount is welcome. And, you know, this keeps the center running. So with that, I'd like to thank all of those who have contributed to the program tonight. I want to thank Reverend Allie for being here supporting us and being available for a private meeting or a prayer if needed. I want to thank Peter, who is our lead on Wednesday nights.
Yay,
and
Peter.
who runs our PowerPoint. Alice Herndon, who does our spotlighting, Alice Knudsen, who does our muting, and also shared management. I want to, even though he's not here tonight, I want to give a shout out to Paul, who has been so active with these Wednesday nights for so many years. And when he returns from his leave, he'll be co-hosting twice a month, as will I. And then Steve Carter, who's in our administration, he prepares documents for us for Wednesday night. And then, sorry, my little kitty is jumping up here. Yeah. And, you know, everybody behind the scenes, everybody who has contributed. And of course, I want to thank Teresa again, Reverend Teresa, for, you know, for this beautiful, deep subject that we don't often address. So let's give her a hand again. I just want to thank you, Teresa.
Thank
It was
you.
just Beautiful talk. And
Thank
hope
you.
we have you again on another Wednesday night.
Thank you.
And I want to now turn it over to you
Ah.
for our closing prayer.
All right. Oh, as we come together in celebration, as we come together in love, I know that we are each blessed and received just what they needed this evening, the love, the nourishment, the tender heart, the tender talk. I know that spirit is alive and well in each one of us, and that we are truly that whole perfect being, that spiritual being that resides on this earthly plane. I'm so grateful to know that all is well and that we are nourished by this conversation and that we take it with us to explore more ways that we can uncover those deep-seated beliefs that don't serve us, that are really falsehoods that keep us from experiencing all that we want to be experiencing in our life and for the world. There is one of us here, one collective heartbeat, and so we each do our own work. And I celebrate each of us for coming together today to do that work and to celebrate each other. So I give great thanks and know that we are safely going to slide into our beds, have a little bite to eat, whatever it is that we do, we are doing it from love. And I thank you and I'm grateful and I let it be. So it is.
So it is.